Good morning, YouTube. It's just such a wonderful day today, and I'm just so full of exhilaration. I am just on top of everything, and I just really am having a great time. And everything is just wonderful in the country, and wonderful for me, and wonderful for Texas. At least until I turn on the TV and start listening to the debates over the elections and all of the things that are going on and the words that are being used and things like that. And then I kind of get a downer, but I'm not going to let that bother me too much today because I feel too good. So I'm going to just believe that everything's going to work out good and that the election process is going to work. That we will get the leaders that we need to. The process works. That's what historians always tell us, is that our wonderful democratic process works. You know, after all of the blood and guts and all the bloodshed that goes on and all the mudslinging, it actually works out in the end that we get the person that we need. Most of the time, I've seen a few times when that hasn't happened, but anyway, I'm going to. I know that I'm never going to win the lottery, and even less than that chance than that. I'm never going to end up in the White House. It's even less a chance of that. But it's just fun to think about sometimes what I would do if I were in the White House, because after all, I mean, President Obama has set a wonderful precedent for me. He's given me a wonderful present too. He's set a wonderful precedent so that when I get to the White House, I can have all kinds of fun, because I can just write executive orders. You know, he's made that precedent for future presidents. That, you know, if you want to get things done, you just go to your Oval Office. You don't have discussions. You don't go to Congress, or you don't do any. You don't go to the country or anything like that. You just go to your Oval Office and you just sit down with your pen and you just write out one executive order after another, and you do it so much, you know, and so fast that it makes the head swim, the Congress's head swim. All the congressmen, they can't keep up with it, and and I can write fast, so believe me, I can do a bunch of executive orders, and I would if I was there, you know, because a lot of executive orders need to be made. But the first executive order that I'm going to make, I mean, day one, and of course, seriously, on day one, it's not going to be executive orders. I'm going to be going through the NSC and the CIA, but I'm not going to get off in that serious subject today. Right now, I'm going to stay on the lighter side. So, on the lighter side, what I'm going to do the very first day is I'm going to make the very first executive order is that former President Barack Obama is going to have to go through, before he can serve as the UN Secretary General. He's got to go through Marine boot camp. And we're going to see. We're going to make him graduate with honors from Marine boot camp before he's allowed to serve as UN Secretary General. And I'm going to write out the next executive order. Is going to say that to all historians, you cannot say anything good about President Barack Obama until he graduates. And he's got to do it with honors. Graduate from a Marine boot camp, and so but. We're not going to ruin a perfect thing. Everybody, I know the Marines, they're crazy, and they're saying we don't want to ruin a perfect thing by having Obama there. And so, but I've got your back on that. So what we're going to do is we're not going to ruin a perfect thing like Marine boot camp is by. What we're going to do is we're going to put Barack Obama in a barracks by himself. Well, not by himself, but he's going to be without any other recruits. So what we're going to do, we're going to get one of those old-fashioned World War II type barracks. If you all remember that when we had the bays and the, we didn't have the private rooms like a lot of them have now in the Air Force and the Army and I don't think them, but we're not 100%, but a whole lot of our Army, Air Force bases and other places have these private rooms that they have, you know, that are really nice, you know, just like living in a hotel and everything. But we didn't used to have that. It used to be like you just had a big bay, and everybody was just out in that big bay, and only the cadre, well, you know, got a private 2-man room. And so we're going to get one of those, kind of like that Quonset hut maybe that is in Gomer Pyle's show, or one of the larger bays. And what we're going to do is we're going to he's going to have we're going to have 100 people there with him, and that he's going to live with. He's going to live with them for the entire duration. He's not going to get any. He's not going to get any pass or leave or anything. The entire duration of the boot camp, he's going to live with those 100 individuals. But those 100 individuals, they're not going to be recruits. These 100 individuals are all going to be seasoned drill sergeants, seasoned Marine drill sergeants. Now, he's going to spend day and night for the entire duration of that boot camp with 100 seasoned Marine drill sergeants, and we may even call in. I may even call in some retired Marine. Just to make sure everything goes wonderful. We'll call it some retired Marine boot camp sergeants. You know, we want to make sure it goes right. And these not going to be officers. These going to be NCO type. If you know what I mean by that. You know, we're not going to have any officers there, you know, because so that we don't want to take a chance on there being any kind of politeness or niceties or anything like that. We're going to have NCOs, and so we'll call in those NCOs, and we're going to put him through the rigors, and you know this. Well, then the next thing we're going to do is. The next thing I'm going to do, it's going to be the next. I'd like to stay on this one because it's so wonderful to think about Obama going through that Marine boot camp, and I was going to say, and I'm going to pay those if I bring in those retired NCOs. I'm going to pay them well, you know, so they won't have to worry about being paid for their time, because I know it's going to be an excruciating thing trying to train Obama. So I'm gonna make sure they get paid really well for doing that, and then even the ones that are still on active duty as Marine drill sergeant, we're going to double, triple their pay, you know, so that they won't mind going through what it's going to take, and it'll take them all. It'll take all 100 of them to get the job done. So, and I'm going to oversee it and make sure it's done right. but and then the next executive order is that I'm going to write out is I'm going to have every member of Congress is going to have to get out and run 2 miles every morning with me. We're going to run 2 miles every morning, and you say, well, what about the what about the ones that are up over 70 years old? You know, what about the well, okay, next executive order. Any congressman over 90 years old can walk the 2 miles. But everyone else has to run 2 miles. Has to run the 2 miles. Okay, so we're going to get everybody all fit and trim, and we're going to put them on a good diet and all of this, you know, because then they won't be worried so much about the need of a lifetime health care and everything, because they'll be in such good shape that they won't be having to redo the health care. It's a wonderful health care system that we have in the country. So we're going to get everybody in shape where they'll live a long time and have a good, productive life, and we're going to work all of that out. And then the next executive order I'm going to write is I'm going to make it a rule that if you send an email, you can't we can't use emails anymore if you're a member of Congress or if you're in the top. If you're in the top 10 or 15 officials in the U.S. government, you no longer can use emails of any type. You can't even send an email saying pick up a loaf of bread on your way home, because after all, we know that that's code for bring the suitcase bomb this way. So you won't be able to write. You won't be able to use any more emails. And then I'm going to sign an executive order that says we're going to change the name of email to electronic spectral grid scintillating superfluity of synchronic syndromes. And that's what we're going to have to call these electronic system, this electronic mail which we're sending, and so that every time that you talk about sending an email or think about it, you're going to have to say that word, and so that way that'll keep people from wanting to use emails because they won't be able to pronounce the words. and especially Congress, they sure won't be able to pronounce those words. And then, of course, they'll try to come up with an acronym, but then when they do that, it'll be ESG. So that still won't work, and so we'll just end up taking email out of the dictionary and using another word, and then the next thing we're going to come along here, we're going to take all of these racial words out of the dictionary, and we're not going to have any more words like bigot or anything like that. And when it comes to prejudice, we're not going to. It's going to become politically incorrect to even say prejudice. You can't. You won't be able to say prejudice anymore. You'll have to say. We're going to change the pronunciation of that to prejudice. Okay, prejudge, and you have to say the pre. You got to say it with 4 or 5 e's on there. Prejudice. Okay, that's every time you say it. It's got to be said that way, and so we're gonna get a lot of things changed like that, and so that way we'll do away with all racism in the country. But because people will have to say prejudge, and then you'll have to think about what the word pre means, and you'll have to think about what the word judge means, and of course we know that the Bible says, "Judge not, lest you be judged," and so we'll have to be thinking all those kinds of things over, and every time we use the word, and then next order I'm going to write is anytime there's anytime any white person uses a racial slur or N word or anything like that. The executive order is going to say they have to spend 3 nights in a foxhole with a black Marine. It's got to be a black Marine, and then we're going to test that situation, and it's going to have to be under live fire. 3 nights under live fire, a live fire exercise, or live fire warfare. And if it's an exercise, it's going to have to be just like the real warfare. And they're going to have to spend 3 nights there, and it's going to have to be mostly without sleep and everything else. And then we're going to see who comes out the best at the end. And then whoever comes out the best at the end they get 5 minutes. That's all. They get 5 minutes to say all the worst words that they can think of and all the worst slurs, and they can just really rip into the other one. But then after that 5 minutes is up, can't no more be said about it again for the rest of their life. No more can be said. It's done. We've said it and it's over with. And then it's going to get better. I'm going to write executive orders that's going to make this work. And I'm going to come out with some that are a lot more doozy than that. It's going to work. It's going to work. We're going to get rid of racism. Okay, and then if a black person gets a racial slur against a white person, then he's going to have to spend 2 weeks on a cruise ship with a man 70 years old, with white men 70 years old, all white men 70 years old, and he's going to have to wear a T-shirt that says right on the front of it, just like this Texas-A&M maroon out says, he's going to have to say, I would rather be white. And he's going to have to wear that for 2 weeks on a cruise ship with only white men, and they'll all have to be over 70 years old. And then he's going to have to smile the whole time that he's doing that, too. He's got to smile. Okay, so then, because after all, we know, you just might as well face it. I'll just tell you, if you ain't faced it yourself, I'll just tell you, if you're over 70 years old, you got some racism there. You just go ahead and face it. So what we got to do is learn to deal with it and get rid of it. Don't deny that you have it. Learn to deal with it and get rid of it. Because if we're over 70 years old in America, we have some racism, and you just as well just admit that, because that's the way we were raised. Okay, so we can't do anything about the way we were raised, but we can change it at this point, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write executive orders that's going to get this all changed. So all these are reasons why you don't want me to be president. And so, you want to consider this. And that way I can be assured that I don't have to end up there, because I'd rather just sit here in Texas under a shade tree, just watch these other people have all this fun, slinging mud at each other and pot shots and everything. I have a lot more fun doing that than ever ending up there myself. And so by putting all this out, see, I can assure that I'll never get nominated or drafted to be president. So thank you for listening. Have a good day.